Hello gang, Mario from the Woodfather here. Now, have you ever gone and bought the cheaper version of a product and then been a little bit disappointed when you've actually used the product and realized that it hasn't lived up to expectations? I do it all the time. It honestly annoys me so much. I am trying to change my ways, but the problem is 42 years of mental programming is very, very hard to shift. Over the last couple of years, two of those tools for me have been laser engravers. I've bought a couple of 5-watt models, and while they did what they were supposed to do, they just weren't powerful enough to do what I actually wanted them to do. So for the most part, they just sit in the workshop collecting dust. I absolutely love the idea of a laser engraver in the workshop. I think it's a perfect tool to have out here. It complements a CNC machine really, really well. But the problem is the 5-watt models just weren't doing it for me. So when Algolaser reached out and asked if I would like to test out one of their more premium 22-watt models, I immediately said yes. This is the 22-watt Algolaser Alpha. 22 watts, that's more like it. It is more expensive than the entry-level 5-watt lasers, but it's so much more capable. This is the laser that I should have been saving up my pennies for to buy, instead of the cheaper ones that I've bought in the past. Alrighty, what's in the box? When you open it up, you get two packages. One's full of consumables and one is for instructions. You get a 3mm plywood sheet, a toolkit with various parts, a power block, safety glasses, power and USB cords, some air hose, Algolaser branded air supply with integrated control, the back rail, the front rail with the motherboard already assembled, the laser module, the Y-axis, and one side rail come with cords already connected between them. It's a little bit fiddly, but it saves you in build time. Some more air hose, a little kit with a couple of spare lenses in there, a magnetic removable laser guard, the other side rail. There's also a metal rod which you use to connect the two side rails together for the X-axis. My one managed to work its way to the bottom of the box, however I think it was supposed to have been here. Okay, so super first impressions before I've actually done anything with the laser other than open it up are that it feels premium and that it feels really cool. This is the third laser that I've ever had my hands on. The first one I bought secondhand, so there was no unboxing experience. The second one was brand new, but it came in, it was just a generic cardboard box. It had that thin foam wrapped around all the arms and the parts with a little bit of zip tie and elastics around the place to keep things on. It didn't feel very good, and once I put it all together, it kind of felt as good as it was packed. The Algolaser is as premium a package I've ever unboxed myself, which is pretty cool. Let's crack on. In the consumables pack, you get zip ties, a brush, some Velcro cord straps, 3 aluminum business cards, a 3mm black acrylic panel. In the user manual pack, you get a certificate, a certificate, a certificate, a card, and then 2 manuals which feel like high quality little magazines. Lots of photos, high quality instructions. This part is actually done really quite well. Now actually setting up the laser is a piece of cake. There's essentially 3 screws in each corner. Everything squares itself up. You just need to put parts together and screw them in. The manuals are very clear. There's photos on every page. They show you what you need to do. You really can't go wrong. The only little hiccup that I ran into is that for some reason on my one, for the 2 belts that run the X-axis back and forth, the one on the right-hand side was extremely tight out of the box. The one on the left-hand side was extremely loose out of the box. So I didn't actually even tighten the one on the right, because if I did, I felt like I was going to snap the belt. So I only had to tighten up the one on the left. No issue, no drama. It all works perfectly. Setting it up is honestly a doddle. It is easy as. So of the tools that came in this nice little kit, and of the other parts that I haven't shown you yet, I've got a USB cable, which obviously I'll use to connect to the laptop. It came with 3 Allen keys. I used all 3 of them when putting the laser together. It came with a spanner, I didn't use a spanner at all, but I guess if you had to take it apart and, I don't know, reassemble something, you might need to use that. I've got 2 screws left over. This one is just a spare. This one here is because one of the belts is already quite tight and I don't actually need to tension it. So I haven't put this on in the first place. Then it's also come with this little kit, which I won't open up because it's got 2 spare lasers in there. Oh, sorry, 2 spare lenses for the laser. It's got a little slice of metal, which is called a laser tool. I don't know what it's actually for because I've never actually replaced a laser. And 2 little finger condoms, which is pretty cute. So when you're replacing the laser, you put these little guys on your fingers and you don't have to touch the laser with, or touch the lens, I guess, with your bare skin, and put some oils on there. It also came with this guy. I don't know why. It's not in the manual. I can't see anywhere that I might want to put it on the device, so I'm not really sure what it's for. It kind of reminds me of an older laser module where this would be used for the height, where you'd put this in, tighten it up, and then set the height of the laser. But this one's got a different setting for that, so I'm not sure what this is for. So with the laser all assembled, it looks really beautiful and clean. Now, we'll add in the air pump. And that's done. And now it just looks messy as. What a shame. So here's the air pump that comes with the laser in the same box. What I really like about it is that it's also Algolaser branded. I like that it all comes together. You don't have to go to the shops and buy it separately. It's a nice, heavy, solid little unit. I haven't turned it on yet, but looking forward to checking it out. There's a filter in here that you can take out and clean when you need to. And on the bottom, what I really like is it's got flexible feet so that you won't get vibrations from the pump affecting your laser if you've got it on the same surface. The pump also has this controller connected to it, so you can go up and down for more or less air pressure, but at the same time you can control it through Lightburn because it's plugged into the actual device itself. So I haven't tried that yet. I'm really looking forward to checking it out and seeing how it works. So let's move on. Oh, and keys. It has a key so you can lock it in the off position and then take it away from the kids. So let's see what happens. Beautiful. So it's come through as half power straight away. I can feel the air blowing out. I can crank it up. And I can turn it off. Very cool. So I imagine if I leave it in off, every time I turn it on at the power point, it should stay off. Let's find out. So we're off. And we're back on, and that stayed off. Perfect. All right, I like it. I like it. Let's make something. So I use Lightburn to handle all my lasering. I'm no expert, but I do know my way around the tool. I'm not going to show any setup or installation or anything like that in here, but if you would like a more in-depth video on Lightburn and how to use it, let me know. Leave a comment down below. I will say that the Alpha was trivial to get going. I literally just plugged it into the laptop, clicked a couple of buttons, and then I was burning a couple of minutes later. Very user-friendly. And what was it that I burnt straight away? Test cuts. Test cut after test cut after test cut. I actually quite enjoyed this part. It's a great way to learn what works and what doesn't work on the laser. And it also, on the Alpha, goes a lot faster than on previous lasers I've had. This thing is super fast and very powerful. So my previous lasers have all been 10 watts maximum. This one is 22 watts. 22 watts is obviously twice as powerful as 10, but it makes more than twice as much smoke is what I'm realizing. So what I've done is, this is the casing or the mounting or the cabinet that I made for one of my earlier lasers. So I've gone and thrown Algolaser in here, and that way I'll be able to pipe the smoke out the back. Now I'm not going to share much info or detail about this cabinet because I built it out of scrap wood maybe 2 years ago, I think, and it served its purpose. It's not that great. I've got better plans in mind, but for now it's going to capture the smoke for me, and that's what I'm all about. Now eventually I did get bored of test cuts, so I decided to make a little Christmas decoration. This is where previous lasers have let me down. I've got lots of ideas and I really enjoy small projects, especially ones that I get the kids involved in, where you cut some MDF, you glue it together, you paint it, and you have something really nice and pretty at the end. For those projects, I can easily get 3mm MDF or 6mm MDF, but the 5-watt lasers don't like cutting through 3 or 6mm MDF. You definitely can do it, but it's a lot slower and the wood ends up a lot more scorched than you would like. For a 5-watt laser, 3mm plywood is a lot better and it'll cut through it cleaner, but 3mm plywood is a lot more expensive for me than 3mm MDF, so I never really got into it. So I figured a 22 watt laser is going to be able to cut through 3mm MDF with no dramas at all. And it did. Oh. All right, yes, there's quite a few burn marks on that sleigh, but let me explain. I did absolutely everything wrong here. It's not the laser's fault, it's the operator's fault. I had the wrong power and speed. I had no air gap underneath the piece of MDF that I was cutting. It was sitting directly on the baseboard. And finally, I accidentally unplugged the air pump, so I had no air assist on it at all. So completely my fault, but it still cut it perfectly. It cut right through. It looks beautiful, and a little bit of paint hides all my sins. Now, as happy as I am with the end result here, I do want to improve. So I'm going to try again. This time around, I plugged in the air hose, I've got my power and speed settings good to go, and I've gone and bought a honeycomb baseboard. Let's give it another shot. So I'm really happy with this attempt. This was 31 minutes, single pass, and it was running at about 250 millimeters per minute. I think I can push it up even higher, but I wanted it to come out nice, so I thought I'll go a little bit slower. Very happy with it. Awesome laser. Can't wait to see what else I can do with it. So I've been cutting on the Alpha daily now for probably 2 weeks or so, and I'm really enjoying putting through a whole bunch of different test pieces. The real reason I wanted it was so that I could cut little intricate curves and shapes into 3 and 6mm MDF. That's what I got it for, and it works perfectly for that. However, it's also quite handy on hardwood. So now that I've played around with it for a little bit and I can see how powerful it is, I'm quite interested in seeing just how good I can get it to cut through thick hardwoods and even to engrave into stainless steel as well. So the Alpha is actually advertised as being able to burn a whole bunch of different colors into stainless steel. I would love to test that out, and I'm really looking forward to it. However, that stainless steel hasn't arrived yet. It's still in the mail, so I'll do that in a week or two. Definitely looking forward to it though, because I've got some really good ideas with small boxes with little steel inlays that have got some engravings on it. I think that could look really cool. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button now, and then that way you won't miss out when I do the update video. All in all, this is absolutely a laser worth paying money for. It is light years ahead of the previous lasers that I've had. Way more speed, way more power. It's in a different league. It was absolutely simple to set up and get going. Once I plugged it into the laptop, I had everything working. There's not much more I could ask for here. The only thing, if I was being really picky, is that it would be nice if it came in an enclosure, but obviously if it comes in an enclosure, that's gonna make the price jump up again. So I can understand why that's not there. If you're in the market for a new laser and you want it to be something that's gonna be powerful enough to do what you want it to do, then definitely put the Algolaser Alpha on your shortlist. If I've got any links or discount codes or anything like that, you'll find it in the description down below. Cheers, gang.